In 1974, the world held its breath. Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time to many, was preparing for another monumental fight. The air crackled with anticipation. News reporters buzzed around like bees, cameras flashed, and the whole world seemed to be watching. Ali wasn't just a boxer. He was a force of nature, a poet in the ring, a champion of the people. Everyone knew his name. From his lightning-fast jabs to his unwavering confidence, Ali captivated audiences. His fights were more than just sporting events. They were spectacles, dramas played out under the bright lights. This particular fight felt even bigger. Rumors swirled about his opponent, a powerful contender eager to dethrone the king. The tickets were the hottest in town, costing more than most people could afford. But behind the bravado, behind the dazzling smile and the famous words, there was another side to Muhammad Ali. A side that wasn't always seen by the cameras, a side that spoke volumes through quiet acts of kindness. This story isn't about the punches thrown or the roar of the crowd. It's about a single, unexpected moment that revealed the heart of a champion, a glimpse into the soul of a man who understood that being a hero meant more than just winning a fight. It's about what happened outside the arena, away from the spotlight, where a simple act of compassion shone brighter than any championship belt. Outside the grand arena, where the excitement was building to a fever pitch, stood an elderly man named Samuel. Rain drizzled from the gray sky, soaking his thin coat. He wasn't there to protest. He was there because of Muhammad Ali. Samuel had been a fan since he watched a young, agile Cassius Clay win gold at the Olympics. He remembered the electric feeling of that moment, the pride he felt watching an American athlete dominate. He'd followed Ali's career ever since, through every victory and every controversy. Now, years later, he found himself unable to afford a ticket to witness this historic fight. The prices had soared, far beyond his reach. He clutched a worn-out newspaper clipping of Ali's Olympic triumph, his only souvenir of years of admiration. He could hear the distant roar of the crowd gathering inside, a muffled symphony of anticipation that only amplified his disappointment. He wasn't angry, just sad. He understood that these big fights were a business, that tickets were a luxury. He simply wanted to be close to history, to witness Ali in his prime one more time. So, he stood there in the rain, a silent observer, his heart heavy with a mixture of hope and resignation. He was just one small man, lost in the enormity of the event, but his dedication ran deep, fueled by years of unwavering respect for the boxer he considered a hero. Inside the arena, amidst the controlled chaos, a security guard named Tom patrolled the perimeter. He noticed Samuel standing in the rain for quite some time, his shoulders slumped, his gaze fixed on the entrance. Tom recognized the look of a dedicated fan. He'd seen it countless times before. But something about this man's quiet devotion touched him. During a lull in the pre-fight frenzy, Tom approached Ali, who was backstage going through his final preparations. "Champ," he said, trying not to intrude. "There's an older gentleman outside. Says he's followed you since the Olympics. Big fan. Can't afford a ticket, though. Just thought you should know." Ali paused, his hands still wrapped in protective gauze. His brow furrowed slightly. He looked at Tom, a question in his eyes. "Since the Olympics?" he repeated softly, a hint of surprise in his voice. He thought for a moment, his mind clearly elsewhere just seconds before, now focused on the man outside. "In this weather? Just standing there?" A flicker of concern crossed his face. He'd met countless fans, signed autographs, and posed for pictures. But something about this felt different. This wasn't about fame or recognition, it was about genuine admiration, about a connection that spanned years. Ali turned to his entourage, a sudden decision forming in his mind. "I need to see this man," he said, his voice firm. Pushing past the velvet ropes and surprised security personnel, Ali walked out into the drizzling rain. He spotted Samuel immediately, the elderly man a small, solitary figure against the backdrop of the bustling arena entrance. He approached Samuel, a warm smile spreading across his face. "Hello there," Ali said, his voice gentle. "I hear you've been following my career for a while now." Samuel looked up, his eyes widening in disbelief. He stammered, "Mr. Ali, I can't believe it." "Call me champ," Ali chuckled. "I appreciate your support. I understand you couldn't get a ticket?" Samuel nodded, shamefaced. "Too expensive, champ. But I just wanted to be close." Ali paused, then said, "Well, that won't do. You've waited long enough. You're coming inside." He gestured towards the entrance. "I have a seat for you. Right next to my family." Samuel was speechless. "But I can't." "Nonsense," Ali insisted, taking Samuel's arm gently. "You're my guest. It's the least I can do." He turned to a nearby staff member. "Make sure this gentleman gets a ringside seat. Next to my family. Understand?" He looked back at Samuel, his eyes filled with sincerity. "Come on, let's get you out of this rain." With that, he escorted the bewildered but overjoyed Samuel towards the entrance, leaving a trail of stunned onlookers in their wake. Inside the arena, the roar of the crowd was almost deafening. Samuel, still slightly damp from the rain, felt like he was floating. He followed the usher, his feet barely touching the ground. The closer they got to the ringside, the more unbelievable it all seemed. The bright lights, the flashing cameras, the palpable energy. It was a world away from standing outside in the drizzle. He was led to a seat just a few feet from the boxing ring. Samuel could see the ropes, the canvas, the sweat glistening on the faces of the trainers and staff bustling around. The atmosphere was electric, a mixture of nervous excitement and raw anticipation. He glanced to his left and saw Ali's family, smiling warmly and welcoming him. Samuel sat down, his heart pounding in his chest. He couldn't believe he was actually there, ringside, about to witness history. It was more than he could have ever dreamed of. He looked around, taking it all in, the spectacle of the event, the faces of the celebrities, the sheer magnitude of the moment. He felt a surge of gratitude towards Ali, a profound sense of appreciation for this unexpected act of kindness. The rain outside was a distant memory. Inside, he was basking in the warmth of an unforgettable experience. The fight hadn't even started yet, but for Samuel, the night was already a victory. The sight of an unknown, elderly man seated ringside, next to Ali's family, didn't go unnoticed by the ever-watchful press. Reporters, always eager for a story, began to buzz around, whispering and pointing. Soon, a few of them approached Ali, cameras flashing. "Champ, who's the gentleman sitting with your family?" one reporter asked, pushing a microphone forward. "Is he a relative? A special guest?" Ali, who was warming up, paused and looked towards Samuel, a warm smile gracing his lips. He turned back to the reporters, his eyes twinkling. "He's a friend," Ali replied simply. "A friend who's been supporting me since the very beginning. He's waited long enough." Another reporter pressed. "Waited for what, champ?" Ali's voice took on a deeper, more resonant tone. "He's waited long enough," he repeated. "Let him feel what it's like to be this close to history." He didn't elaborate further. He didn't need to. His words, though simple, carried a profound weight, a quiet dignity that silenced the reporters, at least for a moment. They scribbled furiously in their notebooks, trying to capture the essence of his statement, the unspoken message of compassion and respect that resonated in the air. The focus briefly shifted from the upcoming fight to this unexpected act of kindness, a small but powerful testament to Ali's character. Despite the reporters' initial interest, the story of Samuel and Ali's act of kindness quickly faded into the background. The upcoming fight was simply too big, too important, to be overshadowed by a heartwarming anecdote. The sports pages were filled with predictions, analyses, and profiles of Ali and his opponent. The human interest angle, the quiet moment of compassion, was deemed less newsworthy, less sensational. Newspapers focused on the spectacle, the drama, the potential for a knockout. Television cameras were trained on Ali's training regime, his pre-fight rituals, his pronouncements of victory. The story of the elderly fan who had waited in the rain, the story of a champion's empathy, was relegated to a few fleeting mentions, buried beneath the avalanche of pre-fight hype. It wasn't that the reporters didn't care, it was simply that the machinery of fame and fortune, the relentless pursuit of sensational headlines, drowned out the quieter, more meaningful narratives. The world was focused on the fight, on the potential for glory, on the clash of titans. Samuel's presence ringside was a footnote, a minor detail in the grand narrative of Muhammad Ali's career. The moment, though profound for those who witnessed it, was largely unsung, a whisper lost in the roar of the crowd. Years later, Samuel would often recount that night, his voice filled with emotion. He rarely spoke about the fight itself, the punches thrown, or the final outcome. What stayed with him, what truly defined that evening, was Ali's simple act of kindness. It wasn't about the boxing, he'd say, his eyes twinkling with a faraway look. It was about how he treated me. Like I was someone important. Like I mattered. He explained that seeing Ali acknowledge him, a regular, elderly fan, and invite him to share that special moment ringside, was more meaningful than any victory in the ring. He'd continue, "I've always admired him, since he won the gold medal. But that night, he showed me he was more than just a great boxer. He was a great man." Samuel felt that Ali hadn't just given him a ticket to a fight, he had given him something far more valuable: respect. He felt seen, valued, and equal. The memory of Ali's warmth and generosity stayed with Samuel for the rest of his life. It wasn't the roar of the crowd or the flashing lights that he remembered most vividly. It was the quiet moment of connection, the feeling of being recognized and appreciated by his hero. "The greatest night of my life," he'd declare. And it had nothing to do with the fight. It was because Ali had treated him as an equal. Ali's gesture towards Samuel wasn't an isolated incident. It was a reflection of his character, a glimpse into the heart of a man who often acted with generosity and compassion, even when the cameras weren't rolling. He was known for his flamboyant personality and his outspoken views, but beneath the surface lay a deep well of empathy and a genuine desire to help others. Many stories circulated about Ali's quiet acts of kindness. He would visit hospitals, spending time with sick children, offering words of encouragement and hope. He would donate anonymously to charities, supporting causes that he believed in. He would often stop and talk to people on the street, listening to their stories, offering a helping hand or a word of advice. These acts rarely made headlines. They weren't part of his carefully crafted public image. They were simply a part of who he was, a testament to his humanity. He understood the power of his influence, and he used it not just to promote himself but to uplift others. He believed in treating everyone with respect, regardless of their background or circumstances. The story of Samuel is just one example of the countless ways in which Ali touched the lives of ordinary people, leaving a lasting legacy of kindness and compassion that extended far beyond the boxing ring. It defined him. The story of Muhammad Ali and the elderly fan in the rain serves as a powerful reminder that true greatness lies not just in athletic achievement or public acclaim, but in the quiet acts of kindness that define our humanity. While Ali will forever be remembered as one of the greatest boxers of all time, his legacy extends far beyond the ring. His willingness to reach out to Samuel, to acknowledge his dedication and offer him a place of honor, reveals a deeper truth about his character. It demonstrates that he understood the importance of human connection, the power of empathy, and the profound impact that a simple act of generosity can have on someone's life. Ali remains an inspiration not just for his boxing skills but for his unwavering commitment to social justice, his outspoken defense of his beliefs, and his genuine compassion for others. He showed us that being a champion means more than just winning fights. It means standing up for what you believe in, treating everyone with respect, and using your platform to make the world a better place. His legacy lives on, not just in the record books, but in the hearts of those he touched with his kindness, reminding us that even the smallest acts of compassion can leave a lasting impact. He was a true champion, inside and outside the ring,